In a harrowing turn of events, the police have uncovered a trove of images revealing the sickening acts committed by necrophiliac killer David Fuller. The 68-year-old had murdered Wendy Knell, 25, and Caroline Pierce, 20, back in 1987, and later engaged in the sexual abuse of 101 corpses at his places of work, dating as far back as 2007. It was not until 2020 that Fuller's connection to the murders was established, prompting investigators to search his residence. There, they made a shocking discovery: nearly 900,000 files depicting Fuller's unspeakable acts of abuse on the bodies of deceased women aged between 9 and 100 years old. These abhorrent crimes occurred at the now-defunct Kent and Sussex Hospital, as well as the Tunbridge Wells Hospital in Pembury, where Fuller had worked in maintenance since 1989. For the first time, the moment when the police uncovered the horrifying images has been revealed in the true crime documentary titled David Fuller, Monster, in the Morgue, aired by Sky. Bodycam footage captures the unsettling scene as officers search Fuller's cramped home office in Heathfield, East Sussex, stumbling on the disturbing pictures. Astonished, one officer asks, "Are they ones he's taken?" While another officer remarks, "Why do they look?" Our officer remarks, "Why do they look?" "Dad," a female officer then inquires, in that first one, "is that real or made up?" As the search continues, the team discovers a drawer at the bottom of a wardrobe filled with USBs and floppy disks. Subsequently, they would find out that these storage devices contained close to 900,000 files depicting Fuller's reprehensible abuse of bodies at the Tunbridge Wells mortuary. During interviews, Fuller later tells detectives, "I'm not insane. I may have some sort of residual personality problems, which I've gone a completely almost Christian life and a deadliest life altogether at the same time, with no crossovers. It's just two different personalities." Detective Inspector Shelley Chandler of the Kent Police expresses her initial disbelief while working on the case. She states, "This was an ordinary man. He was married. He had kids. It's difficult to get your head around that any human could even think to do that." And then they discovered some more. She further adds, "It's like he's two people in one. He leads a normal life going about his own daily business. And on the other hand, he's out murdering women." Further examination of Fuller's computer hard drive at his residence reveals a staggering 818,051 images and 504 videos of his abuse, along with evidence of his persistent interest in rape, abuse, and murder of women. Fuller's victims included nurses, teachers, a pilot, a skier, a war veteran, and wives and mothers who had lovingly nurtured families. Shockingly, many of the victims were still wearing medical devices such as defibrillators and catheters at the time of the abuse. One of the victims violated by Fuller was a 92-year-old Second World War hero who had worked at Bletchley Park. Her daughter had previously expressed the anguish inflicted upon their family, stating, "He has done the most heinous crimes, something our family must live with daily." In 2020, Fuller admitted to the murders of Wendy Knell, 25, and Caroline Pierce, 20, in 1987, after brutally bludgeoning and strangling them to death. Both women, who resided alone in bedsites in Tunbridge Wells, were sexually assaulted by the former hospital electrician as they lay dying or post-mortem. Miss Knell's lifeless body was discovered in her bed on June 23, 1987, while Miss Pierce, attacked just feet from her front door on November 24, was found 3 weeks later on December 15, wearing only a pair of tights in a field 38 miles away in Romney, Kent. These horrific murders, known as the bedsite murders, remained unsolved for years until DNA science provided a major breakthrough leading to Fuller's arrest in 2020. Chandler describes the pivotal moment when a familial link was identified on the National DNA Database, leading to Fuller's brother, who was living in the area of the murders in 1987. The subsequent investigation swiftly resulted in 2 murder charges against David Fuller. However, it was only when detectives uncovered what prosecutor Duncan Atkinson Casey described as a library of unimaginable sexual depravity concealed in a hide at Fuller's home that they realized the true extent of his crimes. D.S. David Shipley, from the Kent Police's pedophile investigation team, analyzed the recovered pictures and videos. He remarks, "Fuller committed every sexual act that it's possible to do with a human body. There was a complete lack of emotion being shown by him. It seems to me that there's no thought whatsoever for the fact that it is somebody's loved one. It's still a person. They may be dead, but they are still a person." There wasn't an ounce of humanity demonstrated by him at any point. Additionally, the hard drives contained a staggering 4 million indecent images of children, the majority of which were downloaded from the internet. Following Fuller's unexpected change of pleas to guilty during his trial, he was sentenced to life imprisonment with no possibility of parole. At the time of his sentencing, 81 of the mortuary victims had been identified. Due to the challenges involved in identifying all the bodies he abused and the possibility of hundreds of additional victims dating back to the beginning of Fuller's employment at the hospital, Kent Police established a dedicated call center to address public concerns. Moreover, the government announced an independent public inquiry into the matter, and H. England ordered all hospitals to review their security measures. In the wake of Fuller's conviction, the Kent and Essex Serious Crime Directorate managed to identify a total of 101 victims, shedding light on the immense scale of his depravity. The revelations surrounding David Fuller's heinous acts have left communities shocked and horrified, while authorities and institutions work to prevent such atrocities from occurring again in the future.